Okay, let's kick this thing off here. Mic check, mic check, mic check. Should be able to hear, see the screen, all that good stuff there. Welcome, TradePhantoms.com. Mr. Blue here. Today's date going to be Tuesday, October 21st of 2025, and I will spend about, give or take, about an hour, give or take, here with you folks. Go through some pre-market prep, starting with some futures. Take us into the open at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, and see if we have some potential setups that could develop. And of course, I will explain that and trade that if I see fit. And hopefully everybody's having a good start of the week, good month, October, kind of changing seasons, etc. Hopefully everybody's enjoying that. Holidays right off the or soon to come soon, but we got some business to handle here today. Again, this is TradePhantoms.com. I will start this off really quickly, as I always do, no matter what. I bring this up every single day for the most part, or every trading session that I do. Mr. Blue here, Trade Phantoms. Institutional order flow, demand and supply is the strategy that we use at Phantoms, right? Where the buyers are, where the sellers are, institutional wise. There's a whole process on that. Top down, multiple time frame analysis, right? So you are going to see a lot of orange, yellow, and blue color code or colors on the screens. Reason being is I color code these major three timeframes here. So even if you are looking to be a very short-term trader, maybe you're only taking a couple of scalps or a couple of short-term trades, even maybe trading in futures, you still need to know where you are on the higher timeframes, being the monthly, weekly, daily charts or timeframes, if you will. Monthly time frame is going to get a color code of orange. So anything that you see in that color code orange is going to be oriented to the monthly time frame. Color code for weekly is yellow, followed by daily blue, right? So yesterday's high, yesterday's low. For example, I got a daily time frame of the S&P 500. SPX just in the background here is highlighted in blue. Last week's high, last week's low, highlighted in yellow, so on and so forth, right? Quick checklist for the team, monthly, weekly, daily wise. We got candlesticks, a bunch of fancy names here. Location and context being most important. You want to be looking for these formations in the context of an uptrend at demand levels. Bearish candlesticks, again, a bunch of fancy names here. Going to be location and context more important. Typically, we're going to be looking for these, okay, as they close, okay, in the context of downtrends, okay, at supply levels. Of course, you can see in the S&P 500, okay, we're in an uptrend, and we have been for quite some time now, okay, and even a couple of Fridays ago, give or take, we had this massive drop here, but so far, we've been absorbing that, and we're close to all-time highs. Again, we'll get to the charts in a moment here. One last thing, I believe, we can't skip this. This is super important. This is the liquidity map, okay? 2 actions, buys and sells, 4 possibilities, however, because you could buy to enter, in which case now you are walking around as a potential seller to exit, whether that be at, if you buy to enter bullish, you have to sell to take profit, if you're right, or even if you're wrong, you have to sell to get out, right? So buying to enter, but sell to exits. We have this quadrant here, 1, 2, 3, and 4. We kind of put the quadrant 3 and 2 together, and then we as an uptrend, and we put quadrant 1 and 4 together as a downtrend here. You can also sell, okay, but also sell short to enter the market, right? Accumulation of shorts, bearish, in which case at some point you have to buy to cover, okay, whether you're in profit or loss. If you short, you want the price action to go down. Okay, so we put this all together. We have advanced classes, things like that here at Phantoms. Okay, where we train traders to understand this at a higher level. However, putting it all together associated with the top-down multiple time frame analysis, starting with the high time frames first, no matter what. What's going on, J.O., Daniel King? We got Joe Pinopouchard in the house. We got Joe Frank. What's going on? Still recovering from the weekend fun. Yeah, man, it was a good weekend. Cool. It's that time of the year, man. I don't know if you're in the Northeast, give or take. Foliage, man, a lot of colors out here right now. So that fall season is definitely in the air. Spice lattes, pumpkin spice. Here we go. All right, what's going on, IOF? Good to see you, brother, in here too. 1 ounce of theory, I see you. All right, let's start off here with futures. Hopefully y'all enjoyed your weekend as well. Some Phantoms members in the house. We'll start off with some futures. You're not going to be able to see the charts here. Kind of annoying here, but we get the S&P daily time frame upper left, followed by the NASDAQ upper left, upper right, NASDAQ futures daily time frame. We got the Dow Jones lower left, and then we get the Russell 2000 on the bottom right. This was once a clean chart until we went into an advanced futures class and used the Russell as a clean chart as some teaching modules there. Okay, here's we're going to be trading live right now, right? So we have time for classes and we have time for live trade room, and right now we're in a portion of the live trade room, right? As we speak right now, we get the S&Ps basically flat, NASDAQ basically flat as well. Basically, everything's flat, right? Dow Jones even flat as well. And then we have the Russell 2000, which is slightly down, no big deal there. Nice little close yesterday on the small caps. Russell 2000, by the way. Decent little positive COG fall through off of a hammer bar last Friday off the 20-period moving average here, by the way. Small caps are a little bit hard to trust, but they've been trying to give some movement throughout the day as well, grinding higher. But if I focus on the S&P, just pop this open here, right? Kind of zooming in here. Here's the current price. And so you can see it's basically flat, right? So we had a nice little rally yesterday. Decent. It was a slow grind, but a grind albeit. All right, this was yesterday's candle here. I'm on a daily time frame of the S&P 500 futures. What's going on, Mark Wahlberg? Yoga pants season, wink, wink. Indeed, sir. We got, so this was yesterday's daily candle. Okay, nice little pop yesterday. So far, a nice little close, right? We actually closed above a couple daily highs here. Now, if I kind of scroll back a little bit here, this is the ultimate bar, right? Candle, if you will. This was 10/10, October 10th, which was a Friday, where the markets had a nice little drop down, okay? I had a nice drop down over, 2%, give or take, and put in the low. And then that was almost 2 weeks ago, right? And then we had a whole full trading week last week, and all we really did was kind of go up and down, up and down, up and down inside, okay, of Friday's high and low. So even though it's now beginning Tuesday, October 21st, from this 10/10 October 10th bar here, we have a week already under the belt plus another day here, and we're absorbing this. So, I mentioned to the team that, okay, great, yeah, we have this massive bar here. Is this going to be the beginning of something where we could potentially have more deeper correction? I mean, it could have been, right? But then all last week, we've been inside this. We're up, down, up, down, up, down. We've been, getting short at Globex traps above. We've been getting long above the Globex traps below. And right now, we're still in Friday's range of 2 Fridays ago, right? The October 10th. So we're only a couple of points away, right? The all-time high S&P 6812 handle. We're trading 68.75. I mean, we're basically 25, 30 points, give or take, away from the all-time high. Given the fact yesterday's close here, even though we did a positive COG of this prior bar and the prior 2 bars here, as you can see candles, we're still inside this bar. But again, path of least resistance, and I don't mean resistance in the form of supply/resistance of a level, but I'm talking about just energy. Okay, we can easily pop. Okay, easily pop, especially yesterday. Those bulls put in the stance on that. We do have earnings coming out as well. This is a big week. I'm going to pop open that in a moment. Couple of big names, starting with Netflix tonight, Tuesday after close. Take a peek at that. So earnings are coming up here as well, which is a key thing. We also have a VIX expiration tomorrow, which is super key. The markets could be a little bit quiet today into tomorrow. We'll see what that looks like. Yesterday was a move up, albeit, but it was a very slow grind as volatility is contracting and dropping down. We'll get to the VIX chart in a moment. All right, but I'll keep this a bit more simple for right now. One of the last thing I wanted to mention was keeping on your radar. There's a CPI print that is going to be coming out because the government's still shut down here in the U.S. Politics playing politics, annoying. But we do have Friday. We have a big CPI print coming up. That's going to come out on Friday the 24th. So that is coming out. And so that's going to be one of the first kind of things, if you will, in terms of economic news that are coming out. That's a big one there. As the government is still shut down, we had kind of a hiccups and speed bumps, if you will, with this economic data that's coming out or not coming out, the lack thereof. All right, we'll drop down to the smaller time frames in a moment. We'll map out our Globex traps in a moment. Globex high, Globex low. I can switch over to the NASDAQ and I can say almost the same exact thing. Okay, here's that Friday 10/10 October 10th bar. Okay, we're just absorbing that. Even on Friday, we flushed lower. I'll get down to the small time frames. All right, we flushed lower a bit there. We made a couple of daily lows here. We had set up for this potential G trap. Okay, I've been training my traders a lot here, Phantoms, in regard to understanding liquidity in terms of these daily high, daily low, weekly high, weekly low sweeps. Last Friday we came all the way down. We swiped a couple of daily lows here, which we had prepped. Okay, and then we put in what's called a hammer bar. Okay, that's a hammer bar right there. Okay, off of the 20-period moving average. We're highlighted in that blue dash right there. Then we had fall through yesterday. We're flat here today in the NASDAQ futures. Again, path of least resistance. We can easily pop to the upside. We're going to drop down to small time frames right now. Okay, map out our Globex traps. Okay, that was NASDAQ with a daily time frame. Dropping down to the small time frames as mentioned. Okay, but no matter what, I'm going to just show you all the lay of the land here real quick. No matter what, looking at the higher time frames. We got a monthly here, weekly here, daily here, monthly, weekly, daily. Super important. And I'm going to drop to the smaller time frames here. I got a 60-minute time frame here, upper left, followed by a 30-minute time frame, bottom left, 5-minute here in the middle, followed by a 2-minute time frame here on the hard right edge. smaller time frames, or intermediate, if you will, with 60-minute time frame here. S&P futures. Here's the current price where my cursor is. And kind of before I delete this, we were with the team here on Thursday and Friday, give or take. And this was a Globex high, Globex low. The last session that we had here on Thursday. Excuse me. We had a couple levels of demand below. Here we're trading out. This is Globex high, Globex low. Got a couple levels below here. Okay, these kind of tagged. Kind of got some bounces out. This was the one that I was talking about here. We were talking about this liquidity sweep, right below these daily lows. All of this inside bar here on 10/10, October 10th bar. This was all last week, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, inside, right? But we've been fishing out basically liquidity sweeps above and below. So even yesterday, into Friday, okay, we looked at this 65.91 as a daily low, which happened to be Tuesday, the day after, okay, 10/10 here, okay, 10/11, October 11th, okay, talking about this, where mentioned not to put your stop loss right below that level. You're most likely going to get a liquidity sweep. So we were mentioning about putting an entry here at the 65.85 level. Long and behold, we come down here early Friday morning, super early Friday morning, make that low, made a low, and then rally back up, and then boom, now we're making, we're breaking new daily highs here. Okay, so super important there in regard to those massive liquidity sweeps. Yeah, you had a couple of aggressive levels up here. This was the better one that we were looking at over there, down there. Okay, that's old now, all right? But I always just do a quick little recap of the what we did in the prior. Okay, now we're taking it forward, going into the present and into the future now, right? So here's the new Globex low here today, this morning, and the Globex low is a fancy word for the overnight low. That's all it is. Don't need to get too fancy there. All right, this gray space here in Set Thinkorswim platform here is the overnight session. So it kind of makes it simple or easier to visualize. As you can see, that gray space, that's the low of the overnight. As you can see right here, here's the high of overnight. By the way, kind of have this level, which is a basic level of supply, no big deal there. If you've gone through a basic class like Phantoms here, you'd understand institutional order flow here or supply levels. We had a nice little basing here, massive drop. I mean, everybody can probably see that on Friday, right? That was the initiation of that drop. We had a leg here at, the price, I should say the handle, 6785 handle. Okay, we kind of dipped into there overnight. We're kind of off of that right now as we speak, right? The overnight high is 67, about 84, 85-ish, as you can see right there, represented by that Globex high line right there. Now, there's a strategy or setup that we have here. It's called the Globex trap, which is essentially just, okay, if we were to break the Globex low, I'm looking for an institutional level of demand below Globex low. So here's the Globex low. If I look down and left, okay, we do have a level of demand, and basically this is going to be the level where we kind of just picked, clipped up to the upside here, formulating this level of demand. So if I look down and left, yes, we have an impulse, okay, with a drop, with a basing here, a nice little rally here. So that's going to be decent here for a what's called G trap long or bullish. Okay, as a level of demand right below, pretty obvious there. I want to be careful with the obvious levels, but that's a demand level nonetheless. Okay, we can also pin this yesterday's low as well. Okay, this is yesterday's low in addition to that. So as always, want to make sure we have that mapped out. That is on the sheet there. If I want to bring this up, oddly enough, map out yesterday's high, yesterday's low. Okay, that's important there. We go in more detail in regard to that of why. All right, with more time, we have 28 minutes before the market opens, so I want to get through as much prep as we possibly can to get prepared for the market open. Watch out for that level right there. Okay, this could be a potential liquidity sweep. All right, 66.90, give or take. Put that line there. All right, good enough. All right, I'm just going to clean this up a little bit. I'll keep the boxes there for reference. All right, just to keep the lines a bit clean there. I have to keep the boxes for reference. I'll keep those on there, down there. All right, so they kind of take a line here. This level, current price, if I look down and left, this is going to be the first one here for today, right? So 6725 handle, S&P futures. Save a couple of clicks here. All right, this could be a decent little G trap long, which is bullish here. All right, nice even number there, 6725. Not bad. All right, we'll check some other things here as well. I kind of broke these daily highs there. Was put in last week. Okay, got kind of already retesting that on the other side. Decent little basing here. So again, yeah, base. We've kind of already tagged this level here. If we go a little bit more deeper up into here, okay, that would be the Globex high. We only have two levels here, really, essentially. The all-time high, 12. I'm sorry, 68. 68.12. And then we also have this Friday, the famous kind of October 10th, Friday's high bar there, right? We put that massive drop. Okay, that Friday high is called 0.6 handle, give or take, right? So if I kind of just put that over there to the right, you can see that a little bit more better there, okay? And so, yeah, if you are looking to take a potential what's called short, you have to have a level of supply at a minimum, which we do have up here. Okay, so don't get me wrong, we could kind of rally up here. Okay, we might not make a quick new all-time high in the morning, and we could potentially drop back down lower. Okay, so we do have a level of supply up here. I would suggest just be careful, because if you do take this level of supply, which is right above price, above the global XI, okay, if you put your stop loss right above the all-time high, okay, which could be about maybe 10, maybe 10 points, give or take. If you short at 68, you put your stop loss at above 60, 12, call it 13, maybe buy a couple of ticks, take a 10, 13 point risk at the all-time highs. Okay, they could just kind of tick you out here real quick at the all-time highs. All right, and they could just pop that above 1, 2, 3 points, give or take. Okay, if your stop loss is a couple of ticks, you're probably going to get taken there, right, in terms of just a stop loss. So that's the biggest, I would say, risk. Not risk, you can take a shot at it, don't get me wrong, all right, but you could potentially just get clipped out if they just kind of punch 5, 10 points above new all-time highs. Okay, but do I have a level above a global XI here this morning? We do. Okay, that level right there, so that would still have to get absorbed. If long could TP up here. Okay, if I wanted a short, I might be looking for a new higher high tag, and we're going to go be looking for a couple of advanced things here in terms of market maker gamma exposure with some positive gamma above price as well. We'll get here in a moment though. Okay, so yeah, I got a couple levels here mapped out. That Friday high 6.8. Let me bring the price over here to the right. All right, 68.06, and then we get the all-time high rounding up, 68.13 handle. Okay, this basing here. Okay, we could go lower before we go higher. Okay, but we'll see after the open here. We'll rip the tape right off the open here. Right now, we're kind of basing right on VWAP on the S&P futures. NASDAQ futures, I could say almost virtually the same thing. All right, there's whatever, Thursday, Friday-ish, right? We had a couple aggressive levels. These daily low sweeps, y'all, right? Beautiful. Reversion had a couple levels down here. There goes the daily low. Couple of ticks below a daily low. There goes that sweep. Okay, that was Friday morning. Blah blah blah. Here we go now. Here today, we have a global XI. This morning here, today, right there. Global X low. Right here. I'm just going to clean this up now. This is kind of like old now from like last week. We do have some level of supply here. That could be a potential flip on the other side here. So you see all this like supply, week, daily highs, sweeps, daily highs. And now we broke it, right? So that created this demand zone right below. For a G-trap this morning. Here's the current price, breaking global X low, down and left. Okay, there's a nice rally here, which is essentially the flip between supply, rally up, base, pop. Okay, makes sense. All right, so this is over here, call it 6. So I'll just delete this red line there so there's no confusion. I'll keep that red box for reference. Okay, do a flip on the other side here. So 25, 25,085-ish, roughly. Decent little G-trap long there. All right, and this was like Monday's highs, etc. This is going to be yesterday's low now, so I'll just make that there as a yesterday's low. So you definitely want to reference that. All right. Now, if you notice what I did over here, daily lows. Which I'll be surprised if we come down and we break this demand level, maybe, right? Because we could take a bounce out of here, right? Don't get me wrong. We can even take a nice trade out of here. We might not even get down here. But we have to put on our radar here today, potentially, no matter what, every day, that we could swipe a quick little new daily low there, 24,950. All right? So, you may say, wait, Mr. Blue, you think it's going to get all the way down there? Just prepare. Markets can do anything at any moment. All right, so prepare. Never say never. All right, you're doing this long enough. You've seen a lot of things. Mark Douglas trading the zone, right? Rule number 1. Anything can happen at any time. That's rule number 1 from Mark Douglas trading the zone. Arguably one of the best books on the planet to read there if you're serious about this business, right? Basing here, we get a level of supply. We're already in it in NASDAQ. We're already in it. We're already dropping out of it a little bit there. Okay, but buyers trying to pick it back up, right? A little bit here. Basing. We could drop. Don't get me wrong. Okay, we could. Anybody short on this level here? albeit good. There was a supply level that we have here. That was the Friday 10-10 bar right there. All-time high, NASDAQ 24,403. We're right there. All right, we're flirting with it right now, potentially. Okay, basing. Okay, if we drop, this would be a Globex trap. Pretty simple, but off of yesterday's little sweep. Okay, I can take this line here. This would also, whoopsie. This could also be a nice little level down in here too. All right, impulse basing impulse, kind of messy here. But we'll cross these bridges here before we potentially get down here. But you could also put a pin in here at the 24,820 handle. All right, G-trap long. And again, I'm just looking here, current price down to the left here. What do we have here? All right, current price up, new all-time high. Potentially could be the case there. All right, if you're shorting that, just be careful. Could be a sweep right above there. If you're already in the short, you're getting your move down a little bit here. So maybe some of y'all can already TP'd. If we get down and below these areas here, I would suggest a TP. We got a couple of aggressive levels, even on the small time frame, right in here. All right, gold futures. Took some profit on the long-term portfolios. Hopefully, I had kind of mentioned that last week. Just gold on fire, monthly, weekly, daily up. Implied volatility is extremely high up here. A lot of options activity starting to happen up here. Okay, future gold down 3%. Okay, so I had mentioned that you got to be extremely careful as we're there's another big move up, and we're getting some wide range bars up here. To be very careful. There's been a lot of call selling, all right, to exit, but also call selling to open up here as well. All right, and there's been some put buying, but not that much because implied volatility is a bit more high. I need more time to explain this because definitely not a conversation 20 minutes before the market open here. Okay, but be careful. Gold could have a deeper correctional move. Still looking at a couple of the basing impulses down here at below price. Okay, I got the 20-period moving average here. This is gold futures, by the way, monthly, weekly, daily. If you're ever confused about anything of how far, if things get too high, you can always just throw a quick little 20-period moving average on here. Okay, 20-period exponential moving average, and that'll give you a nice little mean reversion here. So in the event that gold continues its pullback down, we do have an basing impulse on the daily time frames. All right, a couple of them. Okay, in here, and I highlight that in blue. Okay, I have a couple levels in here that might be difficult to see, but this is a nice little we have a rally, bit of a basing one red day, give or take, inside bar. Then we broke out, right? And that's going to be at what's called the 20-period moving average here as well, which is a nice little mean reversion. Okay, so and you can see we got some wide range bars that are coming. Wide range bar here, red bar, green bar up, and then we have another red bar down. So base, starting to have a little bit. Gold needed to calm down a bit there, right? Is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so if we start to pull back down here, right, this is going to be good because if you wanted to engage into gold, okay, well, you want to buy it lower on deeper pullbacks, okay, then to potentially sell it higher. So this blue box in here is going to represent that daily basing impulse right in here, okay? And so when I go down to the small time frames, I'm going to hyper focus on the 40, kind of 60, 40, 50, down to the 4,000 area. So I'm going to do that right now, pop up in the 1 hour time frame, okay? Now, if I look at current price, here's the current price. Now, if I look down and left, okay, there's going to be a couple of demand zones in here, albeit, right? But you notice how this blue box, this is the blue box that represents where that daily demand level is, okay? So if I look at this demand level here, this demand level here, this demand level here, this demand level here, the best one is going to be the one that is associated with the higher time frames, mostly, right? So this 40-50, okay, handle, 40-57 handle, these demand zones that are inside of this blue box, okay, are going to be a lot more reliable, and their formation and time spent there might not even be as great as some of the ones up here. But because where these demand zones are located inside of the daily basing impulse represented by that blue box, okay, this is going to make these levels a lot better, okay, because they have higher time frame confluence, okay. So yes, we have demand levels here, okay, 64, 60s. These are all going to be a bit more aggressive, team, especially when we have gold. A lot of options activity. I don't have enough time to go through that right now. Okay. These are going to be aggressive. The 4160, the 4120, and the 4095. Already got an aggressive tag on that. All right. This is what the previous all-time high retesting the side, but these ones are going to be better located. So call it 40-50 down into here, call it 40-50 down to 39-50. I know it's a wide zone here. We're going to drill down, but these demand zones So you have small time frame demand levels, right? But these are located on the higher time frame, and I'll just put the daily here. It's a decent high time frame there, right? Monthly, weekly, daily. All right, so that comes in at or around here, right? Nice even number there. Joe Frank is mentioning there. So even gold, gold futures like break 4,000. Like, oh my God, it was already trading at 44. I thought it was going to get to 5,000, but now we're trading 4,000. Is gold going to be done short? People trying to short gold. I would not want to be shorting gold down, dropping down to this area here. Okay. By the way, if we are looking at short gold, we have equal to or higher highs, right? So just be careful. You may be trying to take some supply levels up here now. We're on a new low. Okay, you don't want to chase that right now. We can have some bounces out of here. Don't get me wrong here. Okay, so even if you wanted to short gold, you need to rally up into some kind of levels of supply. Okay, even though this thing is looking like it kind of wants to come down, deeper pullback. You chase price. Try to short this thing into a level of demand. This thing could rally and rip your face off. Okay, even though we might be going lower. Okay, we could bounce up before we go higher, right? Just because it's going down doesn't mean we're just going to go straight beamline down. Okay, we can have some corrections, so on and so forth. So my phantom numbers will know, okay, what I'm doing here. Okay, in terms of here's the aggressive levels here. This one would also not be bad just for a day trade to pick off some longs, but also for a swing trade. Okay, for if you get your chance now as gold is coming down and deeper. Okay, this could also be where you can pick up some swing trades, bullish. All right, in this wider zone. All right, spend some time there. On gold, it deserves it. Beautiful market at the moment, very hot. And we're gonna keep the flow here going here. If you want to learn more about that, you gotta hit up TradePhantoms.com if you're new. Gold looks interesting. Gold has been interesting. Gold has been interesting. All right, next up we got VIX. Where you at? VIX. Volatility index of the S&P 500. 30-day implied vol. A lot more to this, but to keep it simple for right now, VIX down, market up, VIX up, market down, inverse opposite correlation. A lot more to that. Jace, how are you framing a trade into a zone that wide? Pyramiding into small? Yeah, pyramiding. Pyramid, mainly going to be doing it in options, but you can also pyramid into futures as well. Pyramid. So we got VIX down, market up, VIX up, market down, inverse correlation. And as you can see, yeah, so 10-10, we had this kickoff, right? Boom, pop up, and then we even had VIX spike up. But so far, past 2 days, yeah, especially this week coming in, we had a VIX collapse, VIX vol crush. All right, so VIX was painting up into the 20s, 25, even tagged a quick little 28 up there. Okay, then we just been coming off of that, right? So we're gonna map this out on the. So we go through a whole thing in volatility, all that kind of stuff, right? I'm just gonna keep it short and sweet for right now. We have no time to teach and trade all at the same time here in 1 hour. But I'm gonna pop up in this VIX chart as well, and very similar to what we did on the S&P and NASDAQ and gold futures. Okay, we can do in VIX. In that, we're gonna be mapping our global XI, overnight high, overnight low. Okay. What do you know? And if the VIX, I'm going to drop to a small time frame in a moment. Stick with me. All right. So here is the overnight high in VIX. Overnight low. Thinkorswim's kind of being annoying at the moment. Click. Okay, so we got VIX slightly up a little bit, positive 2%, just slightly. We had a little bit of a gap up overnight on that, very small, but we'll see, right? Sideways since then. So if we kind of trickle lower and kind of just grind lower on VIX, that could be more bullish for the market. If we spike high above the overnight high and kind of remain high and trend higher, if you will, that could be a bit more bearish for the market. As you can see, past several days, if you will. Okay, we have a VIX, down-ish, if you will. So VIX down is representative. Okay, in most cases, as market up. Okay, volatility contracting, a lot of sell vol right now happening back after that VIX spike. Okay, we had some short dated volatility up versus the longer dated volatility not so up. So that's coming down a little bit here. I think a lot of that had to do with a lot of the VIX expiration that's coming up tomorrow, by the way. Okay, so if VIX remains suppressed, meaning lower, okay, that's going to be a little bit more bullish, okay, and supportive for the market. Watch out for chop this morning. Okay, watch out for chop this morning, and maybe early tomorrow morning as that VIX contracts are expiring. That's definitely not a conversation for right now. That's advanced. Let's move on. We got SPYs, SPY. Weekly chart on the left, daily on the right. Yeah, Jace, I see you, brother. I remember what you were in class the other day too, later in the evening last Thursday, and then you had a question. It's probably not the best time to ask it right now, but I know you had another question. That the session ended right there, and I didn't see the question until like the end button happened. But yeah, if you're gonna be taking some classes later today, brother, I'll take care of you no matter what. I got you, bro. So we got the SPY on the right. We got the SPY here on the board. We got daily on the time frame right. We got the weeklies on the left. Right. Okay. And okay, we got that weekly bar. That basically was just one day, that 10-10 bar. But again, inside of that now, right? So we got like monthly, weekly VWAPs. We have been over the past, I'd say, getting into last week kicking off that Friday 10-10. We were a little range in here, right? So we had a bunch of like VWAPs, monthly, weekly VWAPs. Okay, kind of converging here, if you will, on this mean reversion. Now, yesterday was a nice little bar here in that we kind of gapped up. This is Friday's close. This Friday's close. Last Friday's October 17th. Then Monday open October 20th here. We had a nice little gap up and nice little close yesterday, right? So we'll see again, all-time highs potentially right there. Now we're going to have no gap essentially for the SPY. So what I'm going to do with that information here just really briefly is, right, the SPX closed 6,735. Okay, so let's just say that we're going to open up at or around where we closed yesterday, 6,735. Clicked over the SPX. Why? Well, if I go to this options depth here, right now, this is super advanced. Yep, no problem, Jace. Yeah, I remember. I have a decent brain, I think. I can remember random things, but not my birthday. Not important things, but I remember the random things. But yeah, I got you covered, man. I take that SPX 6735 implied open, give or take, and this is what's called options depth, right? This is a beautiful product here where we can understand, or if you understand it, we can get information in regard to market maker gamma exposure. Okay, so calls are in green, puts are in red. Anything, this is breakdown by strike in the middle here. Anything to the left are sold, anything to the right are bought in regard to the market maker perspective. Okay, this is a super advanced here, but we're looking for either green or blue, what's called positive gamma nodes that really stick out in terms of outliers, and or red and yellow, what's called negative gamma nodes. Okay, and we want them to be more aggressive. The darker the red, the better. The darker the blue, the better. I'm going to kind of zone in here because we have a bunch of prices here. So I'm going to kind of zoom in into things, into prices that are going to be areas where, are going to be relatively hit potentially today, right? Give or take, or give us an area playing field for today, right? I can go all the way up to 6,900, but I'm going to get up to 6,900 today. Anything is possible, probably not, right? So let's first cross the 6,800, which is doable. Okay, down into the 67, maybe 10 points below there, the 67 even number here, right? So I got about 120 point range here. We're going to be opening up about 6,735. So if I pin kind of 6,735 here, okay, this is where we're going to be opening at or around that. Okay, key takeaways. Above price. What do we have above price? Well, if we open up at 6,735, if I look above 6,740, okay, we have this what's called massive, not massive, but it's a decent little what's called positive gamma node, 6,740 bought calls and 6,740 bought puts from the market maker exposure. Probably somebody has a bought straddle out there. Don't really care much about that. I care more about what the market makers are going to have to do depending on hedging their market making book, right? If we rally up into 6,740, this is going to be used as some overhead supply as we're right above that. So even though the market looks super, not, I wouldn't say super bullish, but looking like, okay, I'm probably going to pop up a little bit here. Why not even make a quick little new all-time high? We're right there, right? Right on the shoreline of that, right? Well, that's simple. However, we have this massive overhead here. So 6,740, massive, going to be some supply. Okay, if we get above there, we have a little bit of a negative or a lot more sold options. Okay, above price. Okay, up to the 68 is we have the darkest node here, right? See that dark blue here versus this 6740, a lighter blue here. Even though the options have more, more options, open contracts here. Okay, so if I'm trying to keep it simple, but I feel like I'm not. In short, if I go back to the chart, if we open up 67.35, I'm going to pin this 40 handle with a red line with a note which is already there, positive gamma node at 6740, which is going to help provide some supply. Okay, so right off the open, if we don't get above this and reclaim above this 6740, okay, there could be some overhead supply just really quickly that could allow this market to just pull back a little bit there. So that's one of the things I'm looking at right off the open. So be cautious on that. Now, right below price, we have a little bit of what's called a negative GEX, okay, regime below here. So price can kind of sift through this area if we pick up a little bit of steam there. Below price, I'm also going to pin that 6,700, which is a massive strike price. Okay, not only for today, okay, but even this Friday's expiration. So this is where we have a decent little positive gamma node, which is below price. So I'm going to represent that by a green line with a positive gamma node, which market maker demand from the market maker's perspective. Okay, so what did that come in at? About 67. Not a massive one there, but it's decent. See how the regime changes a little bit there. Okay, so 6695, 6695 or 67. So it's gonna be about like right here, give or take. All right, I'll leave that there for right now. I'm gonna move on here. All right, and I'll update this. Of course, 6,800 is going to have some massive. I just don't know if we can get all the way up there, but some massive gamma node up there is going to provide some supply up there. I just don't know if we're going to get all the way up there. All right, we have to cross the all-time high first, 6764 handle here on the SPX, even for that to be a case. Our thesis for today. All right, we'll put a pin on that up there. Okay. So we already kind of covered SPYs. One of the things that we do here at Phantoms as well is this is where I would kind of build what's called the call put matrix. I don't have enough time for that at the moment right now. This market is about to open, so I'm going to go through as many gaps as I possibly can. SPYs, no gap there. QQQ is the ETF for the NASDAQ. Again, weekly on the left, daily on the right. Again, almost hit a new all-time high yesterday. Okay, this basing, we already gapped away from that basing. Okay, so we'll see. Again, that SPX positive gamma node above could provide a little bit of a pushback on this. All right, we'll trade the open soon. All right, GLD. For you, also, this move down and then with implied volatility still somewhat elevated. Good time to sell some GLD puts. Okay, lock some in already. I'm always selling puts on GLD, but I got the 350, 340 handle that I'm looking at. Okay, on that. This is GLD ETF. All right. I might be doing another round of that as this price is coming down now, but can't talk about that as much 3 minutes before open, but my Phantoms members will know. I'm targeting this 350, 340 handle, willing to own, sell put, apply vol up, okay, delta move down, put premiums increasing, okay, rotate into some sold puts, potentially willing to own down here if you get the capital. Apple, new all-time high, flirting with that $4 trillion market cap. We were all last week and knowing 2 weeks base up here. October 10th came to light, boom, push back down. All it did was break a monthly high, retesting to the side, got a monthly VWAP rebalance here, base. Apple popped, pop. Yesterday, new all-time high. I don't know if anybody took some gains on your long-term portfolio if you own Apple. That happened now yesterday. I had a nice little pop, close, new all-time high, no gap. This could potentially have some fall through. Not a pop, new all-time high. Nothing really there. You have to watch out for exit distribution. I sold some shares yesterday, even in my long-term portfolio, grandma's account that I've been managing for quite some time. Okay, I've been talking about that for weeks now. It's like, I'm going to wait. Just new all-time high. Get there. Boom, got it yesterday, right? The Phantoms will know what to do there. We got Amazon doing its thing here. Just sloppy, messy. But again, we did have a little bit of a sweep. August low, quick little sweep right there. We got this year's VWAP over here. We got Trump WAP down here too. VWAPs, a bit of a liquidity sweep on last Friday. Then we had a slight pro gap up yesterday, being Monday. Okay, we also have the 200 period moving average hovering over here as well, I believe. Right, we do, not I believe. Okay, then we have a nice little pro gap up. Positive COG closed yesterday. We have a fall through here today. Now we just have to watch out for, of course, last week's high. Okay, and these daily highs up here. All right, so if long even off the open or from yesterday, or if long off the open here today, watch out because we have this daily high, these daily highs up here, and last week's high. All right, there's some pain down in here. All right, as you can see, need to swipe that monthly low real quick. Okay, there's a little bit of pain here, but the only thing with this is, especially with the S&P, is a little bit heavy. That would gapping up away from that. Just gotta be a little careful with that. Never have enough time. Never have enough time. Let's see, bell just rang. Microsoft, be careful with it. Earnings coming up. It seems like earnings are going to be the next catalyst for Microsoft to pop. It's been very choppy, very choppy. As of late, even chop, we had a little bounce here one day, inside bar, then moved down to a bounce. But I'm going into this earnings season bullish. So on a couple of tickers, not everything. Tesla, I'm bullish. Netflix, I'm bullish. These are the ones coming up this week, but just has to prove to you a bit there. Just get a quick peek at internals really briefly. S&P's NASDAQ kind of opening up inside of kind of yesterday's late day close area. So just be patient. And Microsoft is showing some stuff here this morning. Off the open, I will say, off the 2 minute. Take a peek at that. Amazon having some fall through there. Advanced declines, negative 230, nothing crazy. Internals are most likely going to be quiet today. I'm going to update this. Amazon holding the bid up into that 220 handle. Let's take it too slow. AMD. Morgan. So you can see it. You can already see Microsoft didn't hold its. Gotta wait for that print to close on the 2. So Amazon already doing its thing here. However, that 220 is a tag there. Yeah, Pinsky already knows. Good job, Pinsky. Because the trap is for, here yesterday's gap up was nice because it had the trap, and we're on the other end of this kind of revert here on the other side. So this might have to come back and pull back and rotate here a bit there. So right off the open, if you caught that, or if you got it from yesterday, it was nice. But this is going to be an exit from longs on the trap. If you know, you know. All right, it's good. Still form for us, however, I'll say. You just got a decent pullback. I'd watch out for right below here where they kind of swipe a quick little new low as if they're going to trap that gap fill there. So this as this pulls back, you might be able to get a nice little entry. All right. That should chase. You can see S&Ps. Spies, we just pull a daily view up. All right, now Microsoft. Go to Microsoft here. All right, there we go. Got out of that 2-minute wide range bar. This bar, the 2 just got fairly interesting. Again, not the greatest setup in the world, but definitely one of the ones that is it up here with the. It's up there. It's fairly decent. Apple doing its thing. On 5 printed that. Wide range bar there. VIX on lows. VIX. You're going to go with Apple just because it's more of a more momentum and breakout, if you will. So Apple long call versus something like, I don't want to miss this too much. Microsoft. Microsoft's still trying to punch, but Apple's already going. Don't want to chase this too far. It's still early. But if you pick up, say, 30 or 45 delta, you can pick up the 265 for 250 or the 267 half for about $1.50. These ones a little bit more further out. This will be a lower delta here. All right, so if I pick this up here, right click, copy this code. This is a further out of the money on delta. All right, so this is the 267 half strike call. Well, that's Apple bullish here. I remember that positive gamma above on S&Ps was a little annoying there. Expecting a little bit of chop today with VIX. So this is a long call Apple. All right, can we already TP team? I'm only here for like 30 minutes here on the tube here, so we can TP some Apple here on this new high. Oh no, well, no, I did. Put some limit orders out here, well, jeez. Put some limit orders out there to TP. All right. Take profit. TP means take profit there. Should have some orders out there, okay? All right, hitting some more here. All right, there was a nice little new high. Make sure you hit that there. All right. Unload some more here. All right. Nice little pop there. If you snag that. All right. Stop loss can be at break even. This can't hurt you no more. All right. Let me grab this too. Short NASDAQ. Why? Why? I mean, you could close to the all-time high supply. It's down. But no, let me not be weird. Let me actually go to the chart and see that, etc. All right, just focusing on this trade here. All right, so stop loss could be at break even now on this quick little trade there, right? All right. I got you, Abdul. I'll let me go check that out real quick. Multiple TPs here, whatever. We're gonna move on. Let's find something new. I'm gonna share some limits out here too as well. Yeah, Tesla trying. I'm going into Tesla bullish on earnings. I could be wrong, but I'm looking bullish, long call spreads. All right, so Nasdaq, drop it down off open, right? Right now we have a Globex low here. So if you are short Nasdaq, I would suggest TP into these new lows, watch out for that first level of G trap coming in here, super aggressive on this level. But yeah, if it feels like short right now, you TP up and down. I mean, into these levels coming down. I pull a view up on these cues here. Yep, nice little drop. Atom, that would be an atom bomb. No pun intended. But no, first, what the all-time high on Tessie is what, 488-ish. So for this earnings, I want to see if we could potentially take out the. There's only an implied vol of 6% on Tessie. I'm sorry, expected move 6% on Tesla, give or take. Now it could go more than that, but I wouldn't want to be. 550 is kind of way out there. That's way out there. For this cycle, probably not 550. The all-time high from the last year is 488. So I'll be kind of flirting in this area here for earnings, give or take. For the record, I own the stock too long term, which I've stated for years and years, many years now, many years. All right, Apple going to equal too high. I'm going to shave out some more here of this Apple. If you got stopped at a break even, I get it. All right, NASDAQ officially went into a G trap there, and S&Ps, I believe. VIX not screaming here. Advanced declines, it's just a little slightly below zero, but nothing crazy as well. So, just be careful chasing these prices. Lower end of that. I want to zoom in here. Wow, a lot of junk. A lot of junk. Which one's weaker this morning? Actually, Qs are a bit more weaker. And I just missed my, I just missed that right there to get some long puts. All right, make sure you're going to be TPing some shorts here. TP. All right, new low pending here, swipe. The S&Ps. This is last week's high, retesting this side. Maybe we'll get a little bit more lower. It's all negative gags here below. All right, so Qs, NASI, G trapping right now up a bit here. So if we rally up, this is where I could potentially sell short to enter to engage the bear trend, the bearish trend. I can even start to right now a little bit if I wanted to, right, on the Q. So if I go back here, now Q's a bit more weaker so far this morning, not by a lot. All right, I'll keep SPYs flat at the moment, and we get a rally up on a very, very, very small time frame. Okay. Very small time frame. And this could be where you leg into some bearishness, right? It's not super explosive here, but what are we trading on Q? Let's just call it 610s ish. So yeah, the money's would be like 610s or 609s. Let me just see what that looks like. Apple kind of like back down to break even, slightly lower. Come on, 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 come on. Some Q puts. Come on. 609, they're going for about a buck 17-ish. 609 strike. Copy this code. Bring this over here. This is a put, so I'll put it on the right. And grab these real quick. All right. Definitely could have got these for like $1. What strike is this? The 609 up here. Definitely could have got a better entry on this. And I'll do as I mentioned something right about this real quick. And I was managing Apple, but these are the long puts here. All right, I'm gonna TP some. All right. I hate it when that happens. All right, so a little quick short there. All right, and if we drop, what is this? A 609. VWAP's what, 610, 611, 609. It's out there. What delta is that at the moment? 138, not bad. So we could potentially even put some add orders in here. All right, so I'm even put an add here at the 95 limit here on the 609. That's going to be a limit. Limits to add to puts. Now, I still want to be a bit careful with this trade, right? Because we're still bullish, right? Overall in the higher time frames, right? This looks like it's about to get filled there. This is probably going to even get up into this level here, structure-wise on weeklies, weekly VWAP. It's the first little supply level here drop, so it's fill. So far by take. This is probably going to fill. I'm going to grab it on my other account though, real quick. I'll throw a couple contracts on here. I got to move on. All right, it's actually a VWAP tag already on it, so I snagged a little bit of some mobile puts there. This is probably going to get filled right now. The limit. All right, there it goes. So I'll put the size on here now. All right, there we go. Okay, so added. Attitude bearish. Outputs. Careful with this. All right, if you're still in Apple, my man Doug. Now, some of y'all might have got stopped out at break even, okay? And I get that for runners, etc. But if you're still in that, good job, Doug. Snag some here. And after this, I'm only going to have 2 contracts left on this. So a little trade there. Now, with the S&Ps, some of y'all have been hanging around with myself here, Mr. Blue, for a little while now. Well, why are you shorting this market? Yeah, right. NASDAQ, I'm working somewhere here right now. If we do get a little bit of a right now off the open here, we have no new all-time high just yet. We'll see, right? Yeah, right now that level is being respected for the moment. Right, drop down now. Ding, ding, ding. Market open. We have our first wide range bar here. A little bit of a move here. Correctional move. Impulsion. Correctional move. This should be the new lower low impulsion move, right? Now we're already. Now notice how we rallied up. We limited into this. So if we start to trickle down here, this is going to be some buy to covers. What if this is the low of the day? We don't know that yet, right? So we have to buy anything that we added up here. We have to buy to cover, buy to cover, buy to cover. right? Getting taking profits on the shorts, if you will, and we have a new low. If we get that, okay, we have to buy the cover, buy the cover, buy the cover, buy the cover, buy the cover. Now, depending on your ad and your position sizing, that was Apple, but depending on your ad and your position sizing, okay, right? Depending on your ad and your position sizing and your average fill, if this thing, if so, this is a bought put, right? So what's going to make the bought put go up in value is if we have stock price down. Okay, so should we already be taking profit on this trade already, team? Yes or no? You have to, right? Hit it. Right, that's an equal to low, and these put premiums increased. Right, so it's a TP. So I just hit it there. Let me hit it here. All right. So you see how we didn't chase price. You see how, shout out, good job, Abdul. See how we didn't see how Abdul's like, see, we got the drop, right? Abdul was like that. They were like, oh, let me short with Abdul. So we didn't chase. We wanted to wait for them to come back up into supply to sell short, and now we're on the right side and we can TP. Okay, does that make sense? TP some more Qs. So we have an equal to low. All right, so make sure you're doing some TPing here. All right, and even on the slow ad that we did down here, options went from like $1, 95 cents with the limit there. It went up to it's got $1.24. Okay, so a quick little 25, 30%, give or take. Just in about a couple of minutes there, from here to here. All right, more size on. If you have some left on, there's the low. If we make a new low, so this is going to be TPs or take profits from what shorts, right? Here we go. Hit it right now. Hit it right now. Hit it right now. Hit it. 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 Oink. Hit it. Hit it. Hit it. Hit it. Hit it. Take profit on some Qs or NASDAQ short futures. All right. All right, not bad. TP from shorts, babe. 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 All right, so liquidity map. I mean, it's only 30 minutes, not even 27 minutes on the open here. Daily view up, a little weekly view up. The slight move down, lower low, lower high, right? But if you notice quadrant 1 and 4 here, I rated for the rally up into, right? Okay, VWAP. Okay, as we're potentially here's the open stair step. All right, so that's key right there. Understanding waiting, got into the shorts, and then we're starting to TP. If we flush out, TP, TP, TP some more. Okay, if you want to add, you gotta wait. You gotta wait for a rally up. Okay, what does the liquidity map say? We don't chase shorts lower down here. All right, and I was mentioning, be careful, don't chase now. Wait. We're gonna get if we're gonna get it, we're gonna get it, right? In terms of a rally up, so we got that, and then we sold short into the mean revert, and then we just equal to a low TP, TP, TP. All right, my man Nick, Mark Wahlberg's doing this thing there too. Amazon. There you go. Nick's calling out exactly. Right, GP. We got last week's high tag. And so fall through on this, if this goes, go on a TP campaign, take profits from shorts. Doesn't necessarily mean take profit from longs, Amazon. Doesn't necessarily mean get short. But I'll grind in there. Good job, Nick. Why is my cursor being weird? What is it? Why is it doing that? Anybody know? Oh, because I have the ellipse on. Duh. Get off. Oh, they're so annoying. There we go. Wow, this thing changed drastic. Let me get my. Man, there's not much below here. Just one massive spread. Apple, Amazon holding bids. It's the only ones. On the put side, just one massive spread down here. It's all there is, really. Ton of sold calls above, creating that positive gamma node above. So all negative gaps below. Switch off of that 6,700, which is 20 something odd points away on the SPX profile. Yeah, so if you notice, what we try to do here is I didn't want to sell. I didn't want to chase price. So we sold short as we rallied up into here. Then we keep taking profit into this little aggressive kind of like demand zone there. All right, this one would be even better too. Maybe to try to pick off a long down in here. Obviously, if short ride these shorts and the TP aggressive as you get lower down here, aggressively TP right. So if we're going to get this negative gax here. So what was it the SPX, right? So what was it, 25 points away, give or take ES? If I go to ES, minus 20 would be what, 40? Yeah, we're talking about maybe like 35. So yeah, that kind of lines up. This should be, give or take. I could be wrong. We got to double check, but this might be the SPX 6700 because I'm on the S&P futures right now, right? But we're about 25 points away from 6,700 on the SPX. Joe Frank. Hood coming in at daily demand with gap. Yeah, man, I'm looking to accumulate some more Hood. HOOD ticker. Bitcoin dropping is good. Bitcoin dropping is good. I don't want to buy Bitcoin at 120K, 125K. I want to buy Bitcoin at 100K, 75K, 95K. Let it come down. Now I got so many things in my head. What was I talking about? Oh, 6,700. It's not even really a positive gamma node there at all. As much. 6,680. Interesting. So that dropped down to about 80. So crazy, but yesterday's low. I'm not sure if we're going to get that, but down all the way there today. But Q still remain to be a little bit more weaker than the S&Ps, very slightly. A slight skew there. So again, just continue to do what you need to do here, right? So if we rally up, this would be what, add, right? Add or negative COGs add. I can pull a fade view up here. Yeah, silver. We got gold. We got GLD and silver down. Beautiful. Time to sell some puts. Willing to own. So like even 350 strike. The implied vol is still very high on these. So was I looking at the December's? I was looking at like December's, November's. This is my GLD when I was already on this this week. So they were like 350. It's just 71 days out. You could potentially do a close to naked spread here. Look at even number. It's like on these drop downs here. Sell puts. Willing to own. Today's date is what, 10/21, 2025. IV still high. And now we have price, roughly 5 to 7% off all time highs. All right. Now I use this options. This would be a long-term portfolio kind of play. Let me make a notation on that. This is going to be kind of like a longer term portfolio kind of trade / investment. I don't want to be selling put options as we're rallying up and implied volatility down, right? Now gold options are going nutty up here, right? And so implied vol still elevated. Now we have a move down, delta move. So now I'm going to get a lot more premium than what I would have even just a hot little short yesterday ago. All right. Just right there. So today I'm going to reload them. So I wasn't doing that yesterday. Right? You want to sell puts. I always talk about this. And right? Sell puts as we drop down, implied vol up as we drop down in price. IV still high as we drop down in price. Sell some puts for rotation here, right? Now on a day trading scale / thesis here, right? On the small time frame, I mean, day trading gold futures, right? You can potentially pick off, right, some of these levels. Like I can potentially pick off the 41, 4160, 4146, this daily low sweep right below here. Okay, right down in here. Even let's say the 40, the 4120 area here, right? And I can pick off a bounce here. Right, so I actually just did if I were to sell it, because I'm going to sell those puts. I'm going to sell those puts, right? I would suggest to know what you're doing there. So that's kind of a bullish outlook. So I'm starting to get like bullish here by selling puts. If we get lower, I'm going to sell some more, right? I'm going to sell some more because I have no problem owning GLD at 350, right? If we get down there, if it doesn't get down there, okay, they get to keep the premium. I get to keep the premium. I do this religiously, right? And I did the 31st expiration there of December. If you want to keep it a little more shorter term, maybe you could do the Novembers. See November. But the most important thing here is be willing to own at certain levels, right? So I didn't want to do this when gold was trading at 405, 404, and then like trying to willing to sell to put it like 388, willing to own long-term portfolio. Okay. When I do something like this, I'm looking at this for a bigger move, like or long-term portfolio for I shouldn't say big move, but longer term, holding it for longer term. Right, so let's say that's the all-time high in gold for, let's just say, for the next couple of months, right? It might not be, don't bite my head off here, right? But let's just say it is for the next couple of months, give or take, right? But if I would, right, I'm going to be getting gold down here, right? 13, 14, maybe even 20% drop down, because I wouldn't have no problem reloading, balancing into the 320s. Okay, so I want to buy GLD at 405, but I'd want to buy GLD at a 350, 320 handle, major pullbacks. Okay. All right, now gold's hot right now. Right now, just remember, after a big move like this, is it fair to say that we could have some price discovery and range trading at some point in the future? Give me yes or no on that. I know I've been doing this for a long time. I know we all want this to remain volatile and go nuts all the time, but especially something like gold, or you call it like a very mature market, if you will, right? Just be careful here too, because I wouldn't be surprised if we just start to get some kind of like price discovery and calm down in range here, right? Look, this is the last pump earlier this year, right? Massive pump. This one's even bigger. Okay, and then we went into like 3-month kind of summer doldrums here on this. It's still holding structure though, right? Basing for the massive break. All right, I'm not saying it's going to happen the way it is over here, but just it's cycles, and a lot of massive options activity up here. Okay, outside of 2 standard deviations. Okay, on the monthly, weekly, and daily. Okay, so it needed to happen, and once you get those wide range bars up here too, okay, now we get the weekly closing and opening outside of 2 standard deviations. You get the dailies, literally, green bar up, closing outside of that. So it needed to happen, right? Needed to happen, and we get that bigger move down. All right, we already kind of spoke about that as well. In the pre-market prep, I know. Okay, what was the other one? I'll see you, Super Dave, brother. Silver as well. And everything that I just said for gold and GLD could be said again for silver as well. Right? And look at this, 2 standard deviations, like that was nuts, right? That was actually one of the bigger short squeezes. Took out that 1980. Apparently, I wasn't alive then, but 1980s, there was some billionaire Hunt brothers. It was, I don't know if that sounds familiar, rings a bell to some folks, but they were pumping gold up. But I'm sorry, silver. But silver just went into a massive short squeeze, because silver typically doesn't move as much. But yeah, it was massive short, so it just got peeled up. So that's another thing too that's kind of blowing out. It starts to capitulate, right? This is a monthly standard deviation. That's crazy up there. Weekly way up there, and then we got green bar, wide range bar close outside of standard deviation. 2 standard deviations on the weekly, daily, and now weekly, monthly, and daily now. Pro gap down, fall through here, massive, quickly mean revert. All right, so this just got snapped. Which is good. Right, giving us those deeper pullbacks for that. So pick a level, or you could sell. You want to own some silver down here? Well, good. We can imply vol still up, sell some puts. All right, good time to potentially do that now, because on that ride up, it's always a little scary doing it on the ride up here. But now we have a big move down. Implied vol still up. Let me see if implied vol still up on this. That's one. Yeah, getting chopped up on ES. Yep. I'm not trading ES at the moment, brother. It's for that reason, brother. Fall back a little bit. We might be getting something developing here in a moment. I'll get to that. Implied vol still up. All right, tricky though, because implied vol up, but we got all those big moves up. So now it's getting a lot better for the sold put thesis, in that we still have implied vol slightly up, but now we have delta move down lower as well. All right, so now we can get some decent, worthwhile, decent juicy premiums. Okay, even for one willing to own all the way down here. And if it doesn't get down there, okay, you get to keep the premium, assuming what options expirations that you used. Right, so that's kind of where I left off too, right? So if I did like November 21st, which is only 31 days away. But I'm still looking at like the 350 handle, give or take. There's going to be less premium here, right? But it'll be a whole full month. Lower. All right, so you might be able to do 2 cycles of these to make the $3, 3 sub bucks on the 350s here. This is going to require less premium too. I did 350 by 310. I'm just giving you a couple of examples. There's the December 31st expiration. There's the November 21st expiration. One's 31 days until expiration. And then the other one is December, which is 71. There's only 71, 72. There's only 71 days left in this year. Holy smokes. Already done. All right. What's happening here? We got S&Ps. They swept G-trapped. And I'm not trying to be a prick or anything like that, but yes, you can see the S&Ps just kind of chopping around. We did do a little G-trap sweep a little bit right there. Hey, I didn't mention it's probably gonna be a little choppy today in the indexes. Keep SPYs flat at the moment still. QQQs. This would be the time right now to do what? Add to puts. Right? So even if you would have added the 609, they're going for about 95 cents right now. This would be the time to add to those right now. All right. And if we don't get a fall through off this one here today, right now, this one that I just did right now, probably going to be popping VWAP back up. Price action up, that is. I didn't even check much internals here. Let me just bring this to like 30. All right, so this add put could be wrong. And then I got SPYs. That are trying to clean up a bit here. I mentioned that too. We got that week there. I was looking at this retest on the weekly. First 30-minute bar prints in. All right, but I'd get ready, give or take, to potentially lock in some SPY bullishness. All right, now paint bars in 12 minutes. We're going to get another 30-minute bar, and then the 1 hour bar would be printed in officially. So to help you on the small time frames getting chopped up, wait, be patient, let some other higher time frame bars paint and close, right? So this bar open at 9:30, of course, is the SPY regular trading session. So 9:30 to 10:30 would be the 1 hour bar, right? So even if you were to wait 12 minutes and this thing were to rally up, this could potentially give you a green bar close with a hammer bar wick right there, which gives us a high probability that we have a 60-minute hammer bar, green bar close back first hour print, back above daily and weekly VWAP, and this is the low on day fade VWAP here, right? Does that make sense? Does that make sense? GC is edging me, Mr. Blue. Gold has been like the easiest thing to trade over the past couple of months. I have no idea how people are having trouble trading gold. All right, this is already clicking here. So this would already be good for a lot of folks already, a lot of traders here. We got VIX dump, right? Advanced declines improving. Bro, I don't know what to tell. Like, gold has been monthly. It's been aligned to the upside all September. If you've been hanging out with Phantoms, what do we talk about? What have we been talking about June, July, August in the futures class, folks, on gold specifically, when we talk about seasonality? What's the greatest month of gold in regard of seasonality? Okay, a trade right now on gold. Okay, what it doesn't the condition, right? See this, the condition. I just spent some time on gold. I don't know. Learn patience. I don't know what to say. All right, I'm gonna get long these. I'm gonna get long these calls here on SPY. Don't let them. Sometimes trading can be frustrating. Yeah, don't get me wrong. But with the condition that we just had is going to be SPY. I'll put SPY over here. These are SPY calls. Yeah, is that edging in a positive way or edging in a negative way? Yeah, you might be saying it in a good way. I don't know. I can't keep up with these new things that these fucking kids say these days. What does that mean? I heard to cut those cues. Okay, let me cut these cues. This is long call SPYs, 671. All right, I'm gonna cut these cues, right? Just cut them. Simple as that. All right. So that was the third ad, third strike, you're out. These are long SPYs. Just watch out for chop range today, as mentioned. We'll see. They got Q. Probably could have looked at that supply level first. This is when you get absorbed. So probably should have looked at that first. If you're still in those Qs and you want to cut for a little lower loss, it could be right here. Yeah, brother. Charles, talk to me, Goose. Be patient, man. Yeah, you definitely be patient with it. Now, if I actually looked at the actual chart itself, I probably would have maybe held on a little bit for that absorption there, but still would have probably. I would have definitely not talking. I would have definitely been hitting it right now for a reduced loss there. But just hit it right there, got up. We're going for like 70 now. All right. This could be even an ad later potentially if this thing goes, right? So chop. Potentially just get back in. Amazon doing this thing, blowing out there. If you're in that TP. Anybody using this drop to either buy some shares in IBIT and or sell some puts in IBIT? Hopefully, yay. All right, man. I don't have enough time to go through this whole spiel on earnings, but I'm going into both the big ones on the board here today, or this week, I should say. Netflix tonight, Tesla tomorrow night. I'm bullish on both of them. There goes Q's. Oh, terrible stop loss. I should have just looked at the fucking chart, man. Stupid ass. Netflix. I'm going in bullish on both. I'm long REIBM. I'm long RE Tesla too. Yeah, I'm going in bullish on both of those. I'll definitely be able to do Tesla with the team tomorrow and live trade room Wednesday for sure. So we'll do Tesla, but I'm looking to just do like a bought debit spread here, up here. I was already pricing a couple things out on this. AMD trying to break down. Man, those Qs, the Q cuts. See, AMD. It's up there. But Mason and team, right? Just remember too, like what I did in the Qs, even I just cut them at like that level there, which is kind of annoying, but you can't chase it now, brother, right? Like if you wanted to short it, you had your chance up here, right? you had your chance up here. If that makes sense, right? You with me on that? Right, now you gotta wait. This would be a TP. This would be TP from shorts now, fall through. Q is literally new low. I almost knew this session was going to be exactly like this, kind of like just fucking chop mess like this. All right, I guess those spies now pushing back on us. Snapping OB, wow. So be extremely. So my Phantoms team will do some Tesla, maybe some IBM tomorrow because we'll have multiple hours. Netflix is a beast. Make sure, I would suggest, if you know how to do options, maybe do some spreads to kind of help that risk there. Be careful. Remember, with earnings, it could be, you never know, right? It could be great earnings and the stock cap's down. It could be bad earnings, but the stock cap's up. So it's a crazy time. So if you are trading earnings, you can make a lot of money, but you can also lose a lot of money. So we go into it risking in regard to options. We know exactly what we're going to be risking in terms of worst case scenario in regard to a spread or pricing out any option that we're looking to buy. And we have to be okay losing that potential premium in totality because earnings are a crazy time for individual stocks, right? So we'll talk more. We'll go through some process there when I have multiple hours on Tesla. It's actually one of my favorite to do. Netflix is a beast. It's a big mover. Okay. Highly recommend to, if you're really new, be careful with it. Even if you're trained, all right, make sure you're comfortable with the risks associated before you, right? And just go into earnings assuming that you're just going to be completely flat out wrong, even though you don't want it to be, but just go into it like, okay, if I am just completely follow my face, dead smack wrong, okay, what's my risk? If you're okay with that, deploy it, all right, and then let it go, let it fly. You're gonna be right, you're gonna be wrong, and if you're wrong, you're like, okay, well, I just lost $500. That's what I was okay with, and moving on to the next trade, moving on with life. Okay, if that's too much for you, don't trade it. You could just sit on the sidelines and kind of just be a kind of speculator, if you will, on the in the stands, watching and not actually participating in any risk. That said, I'm going to hang out. A little bit of a choppy session. Be careful. All right, don't be so reactive. You can see the S&P just kind of hanging around. Negative GEX below us team, though, I will say. I'll give you one last look at options depth there. Refresh it. We go to the website on TradePhantoms, and that's where if anybody's looking to potentially start out. Here at TradePhantoms, we have some people in here that are awesome TradePhantoms members already. Here's a last look at OD, options depth. Kind of weird if you ask me. But yeah, that's what it looks like there. So that's what the team is mentioning here, negative GEX below. Mark Wahlberg. All right, folks, I'll see some of y'all later today. Trade safe, trade safe, trade safe, trade safe. I'll see some of y'all later today. If you wanted to get through or see what Phantoms is all about, you go to TradePhantoms.com and click on this register button there. That will take you to a page that looks like this. Thursday, October 30th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, name, email, all that. Click on register, attend with that button there. And then Mr. Black, the Mr. Black, or the Mr. Green. Sometimes both of them together will help each other out there. They'll go through, here's an agenda. Y'all can read that. All right, we're all professional traders on this side. Trading for income, short-term trading. If you're scalping futures, just starting out with a couple $1,000, all good. All the way to, long-term wealth management. We actually just cover a little bit of what you could potentially do in a long-term wealth management account in regard to gold. Okay, silver. All right. Portfolios should have a portion of that. You should have that, especially given the fact of the past couple of years in gold and silver, gold specifically, monster. Okay, it's old now, but we've been talking about this for a long time now at Phantoms, right? We talk literally about seasonality in one of the classes here at Trade Phantoms, right? Yes, there's classes, because how else? How am I going to be able to trade and teach at the same time? I do that here live, but we have times for classes, we have times for live trade rooms, etc. Right? So you can read all that kind of stuff, multi-direction, up, down, even sideways. If you're just starting out, high school student, just a couple $100 to your name, all good. All the way to, we have some members in here, not to put age into it, but members that are in retirement, all right, and looking to manage their own wealth and take care of themselves during that time as well. So, and everybody in between, come on, come off. If you like it, great. If you don't like it, great as well. Shake your hand, move on. We're not for everybody, and everybody's not for us, and that's the way life is. Check it out. If you like it, cool. If not, cool as well. I'll see some of y'all later today. Trade safe, my Phantoms members. Chop, chop, chop. Wait for the levels to hit. Wait for certain levels to hit, high probability levels. Don't get chopped up with this choppy action as we see right now. Blew out. God bless. Take care.